Welcome back, beloved. I'm so glad that you showed up, not for me, but for yourself. This read is going to be telling you what you need to hear. It's going to be the beginning steps. All right. I'm going to be digging into not just your challenge, but the wound. Where is it coming from? The sabotaging behaviors that you have been doing, your limited beliefs that you have in your head, and what the actual truth is, so you can get to the motivation you so desperately want. Okay. So stick with me. I'm starting with Scorpio. Your challenge, 10 of Swords. 10 of Swords, Scorpio. Your challenge is that you are feeling completely like, I don't know if I could really move on. I don't know, this really hurt. This situation, these situations, my past, this really hurt. And I'm trying really hard to heal. But in my mind, it is just so rampant, this feeling of pain and this trauma, that I'm actually standing here still trying to get over it. That's your challenge. Your challenge is that you have this deep sense of mistrust. But where did it come from? Your wound is that you actually had to leave. You had to leave either mentally, or you had to leave physically. You had to leave a situation. It can even be leaving who you thought you were, who you believed you were. Leaving your family behind, leaving who you thought was your family behind, leaving your comfort zone. You had to leave, and it was not easy. This traveling that you had to do was not, and you did it alone. And you did it alone. And it made you feel even more isolated. It made you feel like you really couldn't trust anybody else, that you couldn't really open up to people, because guess what? I had to leave on my own. I had to travel this very difficult road by myself. And in that journey, although I was lonely, I still kept my eyes focused on what I need to do. But at the same time, it was just, it's pain here. There's still a lot of pain. The motivation for that travel is pain. That's where the wound and your shadow work, you need to dig more into your shadow work, and to really dig deep into who you are really and what actually happened. It's like in your mind, it's this other perspective of the situation, and you need some fresher, you need to dig a little deeper is what I'm saying. Your challenge is really truly that you are still getting over, and you're still healing from some major trauma. And a lot of that trauma has to do with the fact that you had to travel alone, that you had to leave a space, leave a thought process, leave yourself behind, leave who you thought you were behind. And you had to do that alone. That is your wound. That is your wound. That's what you're healing from. That at the end of it all, you feel alone, because you are alone, because no one truly understands you. That's sort of what's underneath the surface there. That's what hurts really bad. That you really don't feel like anyone else could really give you the keys to freedom, emotional freedom, physical freedom, that you need to do this by yourself, and you have been doing it by yourself. And the motivation to even leave was to leave this feeling of not belonging, of not being a part of this community that you want. And also feeling like, even if you were in a community and you felt like that at one point, you recognize that there's so many factors involved in that community that really turned you off. If you were a Scorpio sun, Scorpio moon, or Scorpio rising, I'm talking to you right now. I'm talking to you right now. Your wound is really based in the fact that you thought you were a part of a community, and it turned out not to be true. It could be a familiar community. It can be an academic community. It can be a spiritual community. It does not matter what the community is, but you had to leave. You had to move forward on your own. And that motivation for leaving really came from a sense of isolation, a sense of pain and trauma. And because you were already trying to heal, and this is your challenge, it made you feel even more so like you're not going to get over this hump, that you're not going to be able to ever trust anyone, that you're not going to be able to really be who you truly are. So Self-sabotaging behaviors really come out of wounds, and if you're not doing shadow work, you're not sure. So let's do a little bit of the shadow work together right now. And if this resonates with you, then you're going to be tasked to continue to dig deeper. This is just the beginning. This is just the start of the conversation that you're going to have with yourself. But if you really want to heal from this, you're going to have to look into this right here. You're sabotaging yourself because you don't think that you can have abundance. And the King of Pentacles is the type of card where he has everything sort of together. He has all the materials that he needs. He has all the resources that he needs, but also he's very comfortable. He's very confident. He wants for nothing. And it's not even like that he's alone, but he's okay with being alone. And the truth of the matter is, Scorpio, you don't really actually want to be alone. Nobody truly does want to be alone. He has his little trusty companion in this particular version of the King of Pentacles, right? His trusty dog. But you have a trusty sidekick, don't you? The thing is, sometimes you feel like you don't know if you can really trust this other person in your life, that you sort of go from feeling really happy and excited and proud to have someone that you can talk to, and then not always giving them the 100% of what you're thinking, what you're feeling. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that you are still here sometimes. And this is why you're self-sabotaging, that you have people around you, you have someone that you can talk to, even if it's just one person, and you don't give them everything. You hold back so much because if you really divulge how you're feeling, you're afraid of them using that against you, typical shadow Scorpio traits, or you're afraid of them not understanding. Like, how much can he really tell this dog? How much can he really tell this dog? Right? And so that's where you're at. You're at this space of like, I don't know if I can really, because you're not going to understand. You're assuming. But sometimes you just need someone to listen. You just need to get it off of your chest. You don't have to have someone tell you the answers. That's the thing about Scorpio. We don't need the answers. We already know how to transform and to move forward and to rise out of the ashes. We know how to do that. But in order to get to that space, you need to be able to talk it out. You got to be able to share it. You got to be able to bust past this fear of being vulnerable. Man. Okay, your limiting beliefs, your the things that you are actually not realizing that you can do, or the things that you're still holding on to. So this is still a little bit of that shadow work that you're going to have to dig into. That there are things that you are not fully believing and holding as truth about yourself, and you're limiting yourself. 9 of Swords, right? Yeah, 9 of Swords. So what you are limiting yourself, and you are feeling like you can't actually move past, again, it's your mind. It's in your mind. You've got 3 different swords, and all the swords you got here are on the more skeptical end, right? There's nothing very hopeful. I mean, there is hope in this card. There's hope in the 10 of Swords. There's hope for change and hope for healing. There's hope in this card. Right? You're moving. But as a Scorpio, we just see this person looking sad and alone on this dreary looking day. And here you see this person looking sad and alone on this other day. But not like, we as Scorpios tend to look at the negative sides more. And that's our limiting beliefs, that we feel like everything is always so freaking negative. That everything has to be negative because that's the truth of this world. And that's not actually true. If you were really looking at this picture, you can see another whole other side of it. This person is letting it out. This person is releasing. This person is purging. That's also happening in this card. And that's important. So we have to, as Scorpios, if you're a Scorpio sun, moon, or rising, if this is telling you that, we tend to, and I keep saying we because I am a Scorpio sun, we tend to look at the negative aspects of this person on the ground crying. But she's comfortable, her little soft spot, a little soft place here for her, right? And if you look into the sky, you see that one white bird. Is it a bird? Yeah. And some of that extra light that's coming in. There's light in this card, But Scorpios are limiting beliefs is that they don't see this part. They don't feel this part. So you're limiting yourself to always sort of seeing things being negative. The truth. Look at this. Queen of Pentacles. Just like how we're sabotaging ourselves with the King of Pentacles, the truth is, this is us. She's alone. Not like how she's alone. Not like how she's alone. Not like how she's alone. Okay? You could be alone, Scorpio. You could be confident. You can be secure. You can be clear on who you are and your power. You could be completely set up with all your resources. This queen is not afraid to tell somebody. She's not afraid to feel vulnerable because she knows she's powerful. This queen is not afraid to be vulnerable. This queen is not afraid to tell it like it is and be honest. This queen sees hope. This queen sees strength. This queen embodies strength and hope, and that's why she's so plentiful in material things and in comfort and security, because she's allowing herself that's the truth. That's the truth that you're not seeing. That's the clarity and the insight that you need right now. That this is us. This is us, Scorpio moon, sun, rising. This is us. Okay? We're allowing the challenge of healing. We're allowing this challenge to dictate to us and sabotage our ability to have security, to be comfortable, to be confident, to be the King of Pentacles. We're allowing our wounds of having to heal and move forward alone, and sometimes those feelings of isolation, that we don't see the hope in purging and letting ourselves go and letting ourselves be free to express ourselves and letting ourselves feel vulnerable. We don't see the hope in that. And the truth is that we can't expect ourselves to get to this point. The truth is, this is us, but we are not seeing this part. Because behind this, this is where she's at. You have to get through this. You got to get through this. You got to get through this so you can get here. Motivation. So, what motivates us, Scorpio? Well, let's look at that. Let's look at what motivates us. So, we feel, let me just fix my clothes. We feel motivated when we're connected. That passion, that synergy. Okay? We love this feeling. We live for this feeling. It's not about sex. Sex is vulnerability to the nth degree. That's what this is. Vulnerability. This is what motivates us, that we could be with someone or be with ourselves and allow ourselves to feel this vulnerable, to let ourselves feel this way. That is what motivates us. Also, choices, the wheel. Oh man. Not feeling like we're stuck in a corner and we only have up or down, left or right. The fact that we can go in any which way. The fact that we are in control of the choices that we make. We like control, but we also like the fact that we know that we are in control. We know that our decisions that we make are what's dictating and not someone else. That's what motivates us. Finally, the devil. Oh boy. Oh yes. Oh yes. Of course the devil would show up for a Scorpio reading, right? But the thing is about the devil that motivates us is the fact that we could be the devil and we could beat the devil, and we know it. And we know it. We can be the devil and we can beat the devil at the same damn time. And that's what motivates us. The fact that sometimes we have to put that little darkness on, and sometimes we are able to completely rise up out of the darkness and temptation. Scorpio. Sun, moon, or rising, no matter what your astrology sign is, if it's a Scorpio sun, Scorpio moon, or Scorpio rising, that is what you need to hear. I hope you're ready to move forward. All right, Sagittarius. Okay, here we go, Sagittarius. Your challenge is here, that Rico Suave. Things look real good, but don't have a whole lot of substance behind it. Sounds good, looks good, sometimes it feels good, right? It knows exactly, and it doesn't have to be a person, it could be opportunities that seem really promising. It's like promises, promises, promises. Your challenge has been and has always been how to disengage yourself from the potential of something and to actually be immersed in the reality of something. What do you actually have? Not that someone could just say something to you that sounds good, or that you can see something that looks good, or that you can feel something that feels good and then decide to just jump headfirst into it like the Fool card, but without any of that divine inspiration, right? Because the thing about the Fool card is that at least it's like you're taking this leap, you're taking this risk, and is oftentimes it could be seen as a positive thing, or even if it's not, you're going to learn something major. The thing about a challenge with having the Knight of Cups is that it's really wrapped into this emotional passion that you have for this desire that you have for excitement, this desire that you have to be wooed, this desire that you have to be completely all-consuming in passion, and you're constantly searching for that, and you're not getting any of the actual stability. So it's a challenge for you. Where's the wound in that? Why? Where is it coming from? Okay, well, if you're Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, or Rising, your wound could possibly be here in the Two of Wands, that perhaps you've taken a risk, right? And there's two ways to look at it. I literally had this other thought come to me just now, but my initial thinking was, for some Sagittarius, this wound could be that you've taken risks and it was exciting, and although it was risky, it also made you feel hopeful for more, and you're like sort of chasing that feeling of doing it again. It's like this feeling of, okay, I took a risk, I planned this, I took a big leap, I moved forward in this particular direction, and it didn't work out, but man, that was exciting. It's like the wound of that is this, like a drug. It's like a drug. And that's that one part of the wound. The other part of the wound could be, for some Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, or Rising, it could be that someone let you down. They were supposed to meet you and they never did. And so now you're like, well, I have to just plan these things on my own. I just have to strike while the iron is hot. That maybe you don't always take the time to plan things out. You're just like, well, the opportunity is here, the door is open, I'm going to walk through it, right? And because you were waiting for someone in the past to show up and they never actually did. And so because of that, now you feel like as soon as the opportunity comes, you just jump on it because you're afraid of it just dissipating or going away, or you losing out. It's like FOMO for some Sagittarius. Okay. Self-sabotaging behaviors. It goes back to this emotion, back to this passion, that you attach yourself to these ideas or feelings or desires so much that it's hard to separate who you are from what that thing is. It's like you literally are a walking passion. You're literally a walking desire. You just exude it so much that it's hard to tell, well, who are you? Like, I know you're into this, but who are you? Are you the art? Are you the book you're writing? Like, what else can you be into? What else are you made out of? Is it only this? And that's how it's self-sabotaging, because you're not actually sure of, like, you need to have this other thing in your life, this other part, this other interest of yours. You have to have that in order to feel complete. And you don't feel complete without the connection to what you're passionate about. So if you're passionate literally about traveling, which a lot of Sagittarius tend to be stereotypically, then it could be something where if you're not actually out and about all the time, you don't feel like yourself, because you've attached yourself so much to this having to be in this place and that place that you can't even sit down for like 5 seconds without feeling like a total mess. And it's a self-sabotaging behavior, because truly, honestly, you can't always be on the move. You have to be able to do the traveling and be passionate about it, and to fulfill those needs and desires, and to do so in a way that doesn't feel like your life is depending on it. And so, or your happiness is dependent upon it, or your joy is dependent upon it. And that's why it's a self-sabotaging behavior, because your joy is derived from this other thing, is not from within. It has to be this other connection with something or someone else. That's harsh, I know. That's harsh. I know. Limiting beliefs. So the things that you need a better perspective on, because you are thinking that this part doesn't matter. The first card is judgment. That, and you know, it's funny because this card, I might not read it the way most people would read it. So just bear with me here. But when I look at this one as limiting belief, is that whatever you do doesn't really matter anyway. That you're just going to live in the moment. And that's important. It's important to live in the moment and to be present. But there's something about judgment coming up as a limiting belief, that you don't have anything to show for it, and it doesn't matter. And the fact of the matter is, your entire life, your entire existence is something to show for. So that's where this whole idea of taking risk and just leaping before you really look, and taking not taking the time to really investigate and figure out who you are, and just running from one thing to the next, that is coming up in this limiting belief, in the sense where you don't feel like you are complete without these other things, right? That you don't have anything to show for yourself if you can't also be traveling every weekend, or that if you can't be on this next adventure every time, that you don't have anything to show for it. And that's a limiting belief, because you have so much to offer, other than your ability to blend in no matter where you happen to be. The other limiting belief is that things don't take time. You know, like you're not actually creating something, that things aren't happening for you. They are, but your limiting belief is that things need to happen faster. And if they're not happening fast enough, then it's not worth your time and energy. Like you're not really investing enough energy in growing stuff. Your limiting belief is that you don't feel like you have the time to do that. You don't have the patience for that. And it's like biting you in the butt. And the other thing is that you have to chase your joy. That joy can't just be in your space right now. Like you have to go find it all the time. That's a limiting belief of you. Like you feel like you have to go find the sun. The sun is shining right where you stand. Right where you stand, right where you sleep, the sun is shining. But your limiting belief is that you have to go find it. That you have to go look for it. The truth is, you're living in like your life is non-linear. So everything, like your past affects your future, your present affects your future, your present affects your past. And the reason why I say that is because how you're living right now can and will either reinforce what happened to you, or your past experiences, your past life, your inner child's wounds. The truth of the matter is that what you're doing right now is able to heal your past and your responses to your past. And again, your wounds, your past is this right here. So behind this, the truth is that behind, like what you are focused on right now, you could be healing your past and preparing for your future at the same time. And the wound that you are feeling right now and you're reflecting on is this. So while he's reflecting on this really great time with this dog, for you, it's more like you are reflecting on the fact that your dog let you down. Your roll dog, the person you were depending upon, the person that you thought was going to be there, let you down. And that's what you are reflecting on, that's the truth of the matter, that you need to realize that you're capable of changing how the past affects your present and how you respond to the past things that's happened, and therefore move forward with a more complete, full picture of who you are and who you are not, and what you don't need and what you actually have. Again, what you actually have. Okay? What you actually have, that you have something to show for your life, that you have things that you have accomplished by yourself, even in all of this, and that you don't have to go chasing the sun. That's what you actually have. What motivates you, Sagittarius? Well, you know what? You have 4 cards here. Of course, you would have 4 cards for what motivates you, but let's go through them. Page of Pentacles. Okay, starting things and seeing the immediate, almost the immediate. It's like fast food. It actually motivates you because it's like an immediate gratification. Immediate gratification motivates you. And since you can't always have immediate gratification, my suggestion to you, Sagittarius, is to start paying attention to the small wins. Those will feel like fast food, but they're going to be so much more fulfilling than that. Because a small win means it's something that you've actually done or that you have put in motion that's actually working out, not something that has to be risky all the time. But what motivates you is having this initial feeling of like, I did something and I have something to show for it. It's not like everything, it's not like the whole picture is complete, but that initial spark of something really motivates you. Then you love just dropping those gems everywhere. You actually like sharing information with other people. You like giving away knowledge. You like giving away time and energy. You actually feel really fulfilled, that you feel so full that you can constantly just give to people, and that actually motivates you to have people to give to. That's probably why you're always feeling like you need to travel. But what you're being asked in this time is to start giving some of that back to yourself, to truly like sit down with your own gems and start applying them into your life. What motivates you is feeling in control of your mental King of Swords. If you were Sagittarius moon, sun, or rising, you feel motivated by this complete, I understand, I know, and nothing emotional is going to make me act a certain type of way. Unfortunately, that's not always true because you are such a passion lover. You could easily be swayed by what looks good and sounds good. But what actually motivates you is to know that, yeah, that might look good, that might seem good, but you know better. You know better. Okay? That's what motivates you. Finally, moving forward and feeling strong in your decisions, and also 10 of Wands is also this momentum, leaving something behind that does no longer serve you. You actually really like the feeling of seeing something that no longer serves you and cutting it out your life. You have no problem doing that. You actually really enjoy doing it, and you feel motivated by that because you are able to blend into any environment so easily that this actually feels really good to you, to be able to move forward and to take what you need, the essentials, and go on your merry way to the next location, to the next adventure. I hope that was helpful, Sagittarius. Okay, Capricorn, what challenge you have? Man, oh man. 8 of Pentacles. This is actually the hurdle. This is actually the problem. This is actually the conflict. All of these choices, all of the things that you could possibly choose from is actually it's like, what's the phrase for it? It's like a paralysis when it comes to making a decision. It's the paralysis of like, you're so good at so many things and you have so much talent and you have so much abilities and things, but what is stopping you and what's making it difficult for you is choosing, or maybe you don't have to choose, maybe you could actually figure out a way, instead of trying to gain more knowledge about all the things, maybe spending more time to see how these things connect. That's your challenge, that you have so much going on, and it's like Jane of all trades, Jack of all trades, but how do they combine? And what you're doing is constantly seeking and looking into more trades to be really good at, to have more information, to have more degrees, and to have more experience. But you're not actually fulfilling you're not actually meeting what's what I'm looking for. You're not taking the time to figure out how these things work right now for you. That's your challenge. And where is that coming from? Where's the wound for that coming from? Why is it that you are constantly seeking and looking for all of the things to have under your belt? Why do you need to have such a jam-packed belt? Well, 5 of Pentacles, because you are afraid of not getting through that door. You are afraid of not having access to the other side of that door, because you feel like if you don't have all that information, if you don't have all of that, that perhaps what's going to end up happening to you is that you will have nothing to show for it, that you will be desolate, that you will be cold or left out in the cold, that at some point you were in a situation where money wasn't enough, pretty looks weren't enough, intelligence wasn't enough, and so you have to make sure you got all those T's crossed and all those I's dotted. Hello, breast. You were feeling, you have been in situations where you've seen how not having your education, for example, especially if you're especially if you're a child of an immigrant, especially, you see how important it is to have your education, or to have something that you could trade in. And so you're working on accumulating all these things so that at any point you can just trade in for something that you really, really want. And that's part of why you have this this challenge, is that you don't want to not, you have all of these things, all of these phases that you've gone through, but you're sitting here. You're sitting here with it. And so the reason why you're sitting there with it is because you are afraid of not being able to get in. But the thing is, the key is right there. It's right there. But you can't see it because you're afraid. Your self-sabotaging behavior your self-sabotaging behavior is right here. Look at what you're focusing on. You're focusing on the things that you don't have instead of what you do. That's your self-sabotaging behavior. And your limiting belief is that you can't actually create, that you don't have that already in you. You already have the energy within you. You already have the capacity within you. You're in survival mode all the time. Capricorn, Sun, Moon, Rising. Capricorn, Sun, Moon, Rising. Capricorn, Sun, Moon, Rising. You are in survival mode all the time, that you're not allowing yourself to even flourish and to be creative and to experience. You have all of these things and you're not even doing anything with it. You're not doing anything with it. Why aren't you sharing it? Why aren't you talking about it? Why aren't you doing something instead of holding on so much to what you have? The truth is that you're looking out at what's possible. 2 of Wands. You have the map, you have the plans, right? Like you're waiting for the weather to change. What are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? You waiting for the weather to change? You waiting for someone else to show up to grab that other stick and walk with you? What are you waiting for? The truth is that you're waiting for the right opportunity. You're waiting for the right chance, but you're not actually taking a chance on yourself. That's the truth. That's the truth. And I think part of why you're afraid to even move forward is because of your wound, right? This is what's stopping you. This is what you see when you look out the window. This is what you see when you look out the window. Are you ever going to stop seeing this when you look out the window? It's possible. It's possible, but you have to go all the way outside. You got to actually take that risk. You got to actually take that leap. You got to actually turn around and see what you got. You got to actually see what you got. Okay? You got to actually see what you got. You got it inside. You got all these things. You are creative. You're capable. But you're limiting yourself and thinking that you're not, that you need to have more from the outside world when you already have it all within you. You just got to pull it together, meld it. See, the world is made up of many, many, many parts to make one beautiful world. Water, earth, air, fire, all within one. Your motivation is interesting, to say the least. But I get it. Your motivation, 4 of Pentacles. You want security. You want security. What motivates you is you knowing you have your own, that no one can take it from you. That no one can take it from you. That's what motivates you. To know that you have yours, they have theirs, and no one can touch you. No one can touch you. No one can take anything from you. That's what motivates you. And there's nothing wrong with that motivation, except for when it stops you from allowing yourself the opportunity to move in a more cohesive way to who you actually are, a more truthful way. Because this wound is not what's happening right now. Okay? And accumulating things is not how you get through the door. It's using the key. It's actually using the key. It's actually seeing what you got that gets you through the door. Okay? You got to actually see what you got. This is what you got to look at. You see? Look out to see yourself. Look out and see yourself. For real. Once and for all, you got to look out and really try. The best way to find out if what you have is good enough is by putting it to the test, Capricorn. Put my shirt up. The best way is by actually taking the chance and figuring it out by doing, not by accumulating. Aquarius, your challenge is 7 of Swords. Whew, why you gotta be plotting? What are you trying to do out here? No, I'm kidding. But no, seriously, 7 of Swords coming up as your challenge is really because you have had situations occur in your life that took you off guard. Okay, I'm gonna go straight to the wound. Okay, you have King of Swords. Someone was able to get in here, right, and kind of fuck that up a little bit, and so your wound, instead of the King of Swords being this like, oh, you got it all together mentally and you're straight, it's more like you actually know how easy it is to be deceived mentally, right? That's your wound. You've experienced deception mentally. You've had someone or situations maybe from a childhood, or maybe even more recent past. It doesn't have to be like a long ago type of thing, but you literally have had moments where someone has hurt you badly up in here, and that effed up everything. It just trickled all the way down. So your challenge, because of these wounds, your challenge is, how do I navigate this world and make sure no one gets me again? How do I make sure that I got everything under control? Right? You got to have a plan. You got to have a strategy. You always are looking for the tripwire, if you will. You're always looking at the fact that you're going to get hurt again. And you are focusing so much energy on protecting yourself in that way, or planning for the feeling of what you believe is going to happen again. It's not easy to say these things. I'm not gonna lie. Like, it hurts, man. It hurts. And I'm so sorry, Aquarius, but the reality is that that's what your challenge is, that you are approaching life like you have to I was gonna say Squid Game. It's almost like a Squid Game. It's like your life. That's crazy. That is a lot to deal with. Oh my God. How are you self-sabotaging yourself? Two of Pentacles. Two of Pentacles. To me, it's about not having balance. Two of Pentacles here is like saving for a rainy day and then never actually using it. It's like, it's okay to save, but you actually are like out of balance when it comes to how you approach the actual information you have, the concrete facts that you have, the reality that you know, the perceptions that you have, or the perspective that you have rather. Like you are like, the other one is so light, right? It's so light because you barely ever utilize the other side. So you're out of balance. It's like you're constantly focused. And the reason why is because of how you're using this energy. That's why you're out of balance. That's why the Two of Pentacles comes up as how you're self-sabotaging yourself. So you're putting so much more emphasis on the load. You're putting so much more focus on the load and less of what actually makes you feel light, what actually makes you feel good, what actually is part of the divine purpose of your life. It's like that stuff doesn't hold as much weight to the actual physical shit that's happened to you, or the actual mental shit that's happened to you. So that's how you're self-sabotaging yourself, is that you're out of balance because you're focusing on one thing and not on the other. You feel me? So your limiting beliefs. Oops, I almost dropped this damn card. The limiting beliefs right here. Seven of Wands. Seven of Wands, right? Is this 7 of Wands? Yeah. Limiting beliefs. 7 of Wands. That you need to just be in your own little bubble and don't let anyone pop it. That's how you survive. That's how you survive. Is that you think the way you do this is by doing this. That you put yourself in a bubble and no one could penetrate your bubble. But is that really even true? The thing is, it's self-limiting. You might be protecting yourself from some of the assholes of this world, but you're also limiting yourself, because how much can she see from that bubble? How much can she experience from that bubble? How much can she do from that bubble? How much can you do from your bubble? How much can you see from your bubble? You might be protected from the assholes of the world. You might be protected from being hurt, but you're hurting yourself. That's why it's a self-limiting belief. This is a perception that you have that's stopping you from being your best. The truth. You have decisions to make, my friend. You're hanging. You feel it. You know that you can't do this forever. You know this is not sustainable. You know this is not sustainable, and it does not bring you any joy. And you're feeling how you're not spending enough time on what makes you feel good, what's light, that you're weighed down by all the heavy. You're feeling that. That's the truth. And you want to so badly just reach out and touch. Just reach out and experience something different. But you have to make that decision, though. That's the truth. It's up to you to make the decision, because ready or not, here they come. Your bubble will get popped at some point. And what are you gonna do? You're gonna go back to this? You're gonna go back to this? That's a decision that you have to make. That's the truth. You're gonna make a stronger, more fortified bubble, or are you gonna let yourself get out of it and experience what you need to experience, and to no longer just hang out there? Because hanging out there also might feel safe, because you don't have to assume the risk of making the wrong choice. You don't have to assume that risk, but you're also not making a choice. So what motivates you? 2 cards. The Lovers. The Lovers. What motivates you is being connected. Maybe not to other people, but to yourself. That's very motivating. That's why you don't mind doing this. You're very much with yourself here. You feel really connected to yourself, and you're happy there sometimes. You really are happy in your own bubble most of the time. It feels good most of the time. So this motivates you, and that's part of the reason why you like being there. What also motivates you, though, is actually connecting. It's not just with yourself. You actually like connecting with others. You actually do. But it's just a matter of who. And what motivates you also is the world, the potential for greatness, the potential for amazing experiences, the potential for beauty, the potential for life, full circle. That's what motivates you. You just got to make the decision. And I told you what the truth is, that you're here. That's the truth. And you know what your wounds are. You've been hurt. That bubble is not going to protect you forever. And are you even living? At this point, you are your own worst enemy. At this point, you are doing to yourself what others have done to you by holding on so much. By holding on so much to the wounds and not allowing them to heal. I wish you the best of luck, Aquarius. I hope this was something that is going to help you move forward. I know this is something that you need to hear, and hopefully it's not just me like making you feel shitty. Like, I want you to feel better. I want you to feel purposeful and that you can. You got to move forward. Pisces, your challenge, 7 of Cups. Pisces, your challenge is 7 of Cups. All these choices. Which one? Which one should I do? Which one is it? I know there's some bad shit underneath some of these. I don't know. Your challenge is literally the fact that you feel like you're afraid to take the risk because you recognize that you could make the wrong decision. And it's challenging to you because you don't want to make the bad decision. You don't want to mess this up. You don't want to take the risk and find out that you were wrong. That being wrong is actually more of a challenge than even finding out if you're wrong. It's like finding out that you're wrong is harder than just not making a choice and just letting things happen. And then that way you can always say, well, I didn't actually make this choice. It just turned out this way. That's cheating. You're not actually experiencing life. You're not actually making a choice. You're letting things happen. Is actually you making a choice to not choose, but that's also a challenge. It's actually blocking you. It's a hurdle. It's a problem. It's a conflict because you're not allowing yourself to truly be in the present moment and trust yourself. You're not trusting yourself. You're not trusting yourself. You're not trusting yourself. The wound. 2 of Cups. Someone has let you down. You have let you down. You have made choices in the past that were not right, and they hurt. That's why I say for you it's more about being wrong is actually a lot suckier than actually not having choices. Like, I think that's probably the top level thing that bothers you the most is actually not being right. Like hurting someone else, making the wrong decision, taking a risk and failing, that hurts more because it has to do with you being wrong. It has to do with you being wrong. That's what you're afraid of. That's the wound. And you have been wrong in the past. You've made wrong decisions in the past. You've been unaware in the past. And that's what's actually still living with you today. That's what's causing you to be stuck here, just sort of like, oh, I don't know. I don't want to make this. I'm afraid of being wrong, right? Because you didn't feel connected. You didn't have this sort of synergy, this sort of connection with yourself, with your intuition. You weren't connected to your intuition. You weren't able to like create something before because you just did not know. It's not your fault, but it doesn't even matter to you though, right? That it wasn't your fault that you didn't know. The fact that you didn't know is just overpowering you. So how are you self-sabotaging yourself? Well, since you don't know, you're not making any choices. You're keeping yourself in a bubble, just like Aquarius is keeping themselves in a bubble. But the difference is between Aquarius and you keeping yourself in a bubble is that you want to stay here because it feels safer, and you just want to get to know yourself. And there's nothing wrong with getting to know yourself, but it's a self-sabotaging behavior because you can't know yourself fully if you're not actually putting yourself to a test, or if you're not actually trying something out, if you're not actually doing something with your time and energy in a more risky way. And for you, the risky way is by trying something to see if it's going to work out. You're not willing to do that. So you're self-sabotaging yourself by saying, well, I'm just going to work on me. I'm just going to do my thing. And instead of just putting yourself out there to see if you know these things, if you actually can do these things, you got to put yourself out there. Your limiting beliefs that you can't be the Queen of Swords because you don't know things. And the thing is, the Queen of Swords knows that she doesn't know everything. And she relies on other things to help her. And that's why you're limiting your belief system, because you don't think that you could be as cool, calm, and confident and aware as the Queen of Swords. But you can be. But you're limiting yourself because you're still thinking about the fact that, I don't know this stuff, right? You don't have to know everything to be the Queen of Swords. And so you're limiting yourself because you don't recognize the fact that this could be you, that you don't have to know in order to be this comfortable, this confident. And then the other self-limiting belief is that you have to leave things. You just got to keep leaving things behind. You got to walk away from stuff all the time. That when you walk away from stuff, that you actually go back. Like, truthfully, what you do is that you start like this and you go back and blow out the flames and then bring the little cup back with you. You're not actually leaving it. That's the thing. You're limiting yourself in the sense where you're like, wait, maybe that wasn't the right decision. Maybe I shouldn't have left that behind. Maybe I should go back and go get it. You're not confident enough to say, I don't need this anymore, and I'm really walking away from it. You're working your way towards that probably. For some, I'm feeling like some Pisces are actually working themselves towards being able to walk away for real. There's other Pisces sun, moons, or rising that have the trouble or feeling like they have to burn everything. That's what it is. Other Pisces feel like they gotta burn everything in order to be okay. And that's not okay. That's not actually gonna help you either, because you're conditioning yourself to feel like you gotta get rid of every damn thing. Everything that feels uncomfortable, you gotta get rid of. Some of the things that are uncomfortable, Pisces, are actually what's shaping and changing you. But you over here in this little bubble all the time that you're not getting shaped or changed. You're not being challenged because you're like, oh, I'm just working on myself. For how long are you going to do that for? And how long do you think you can do that for without some sort of outside influence to kind of really see how it's going? Do you know something? When they grow trees, I don't know if you've ever seen this, but in some really big shopping centers and some really big shopping malls, they can grow trees, right? Those trees can't actually ever grow outside. They have to be inside. And they actually have to get trimmed back sometimes because the limbs can't support their own weight. They're never stressed. They're never challenged. Those types of trees never get challenged. They never feel the breeze. They never have to deal with rain. What kind of tree do you want to be? Do you want to be a tree that never feels rain, that never feels a breeze? What kind of strength can you obtain if you're always safe? If you're always playing it safe? That's my point. The truth. 2 cards. Queen of Cups. This is you. The Queen of Cups don't know everything. She hasn't experienced everything there is to experience, but she is secure in herself, that she knows that whatever she's going to feel next, whatever she's going to experience, that she's ready and she's capable, and she doesn't have to feel like she's being taken for a ride. She doesn't have to feel like she is being, what's the word I'm looking for? She never has to feel like she's gullible. The Queen is not worried about that. The Queen of Cups. The truth is, this is you. You need to be more like the Queen of Cups and not focusing on what you don't know. and how that makes you feel, and focus on what you do know and how that makes you feel. And when you focus on that, it gives you the opportunity to take anything that's new to you, that's a new experience, that's a new feeling, that you could recognize it for what it is, take the parts that are familiar and work with it. That's what the truth is, that you have the capacity to do that. You also have Page of Cups. You are creative, Pisces. And whatever you do is always amazing. It's always like, how did you do that? Where did that idea come from? You're so capable of expressing yourself in some way that's just naturally beautiful. That's the truth, that you can express yourself. And a lot of that comes from this wound here, right? This melding of maybe your intuition and your physical self, or your experience, your masculine and your feminine side, like this melding. Your wound comes from the inability at some point in your life to just completely be whole on both sides of yourself, you know? And that has affected the truth of the fact that you are this creative, imaginative person that could, like, it's like you're using this imagination to see all the terrible shit that can happen. That's what's hard to tell you. You're using all the imagination you have to imagine all the fucked up shit that can happen to you, instead of using that imagination to create some amazing, fantastic stuff. What motivates you? This is the part that most people don't know about Pisces, is that they actually want to win. They're the last one of the zodiac, but they want to be first. Pisces are the last in the zodiac, but they want to be first. They want to be thought of first. They want to be the first to do something. They want to be first. And that was what motivates them. The opportunity to be first. The opportunity to be on top is what motivates you, Pisces. And there's nothing wrong with that. What is wrong with that is if you are using that drive and that passion towards putting other people down. Obviously, that's not good. But it's a positive thing to want more for yourself. And that's a hell of a lot better than sitting here not doing anything. You can't stay in this bubble forever. You are going to know as much as you can about yourself. At some point, you're going to have to try to see if you can actually be first and do something that you really want, and take that risk and use your creativity to help you get there. Wishing you luck, Pisces. Okay, Aries, your challenge is Page of Wands. And with Page of Wands coming up as your challenge, it's about this energy that you have that just, you want to be able to just let it out. You know, like it's almost like shaking a soda bottle and never like opening the top to let it just overflow out of the damn thing. The bottle just gets real tight. That's your challenge. It's like all this excess energy and this desire and passion to want to do something, and this creativity to want to do something, but not always having the outlet for it, and feeling like you're constantly being blocked. You're constantly being stopped from fully expressing and fully realizing all this energy and seeing where it goes. And it's almost like, okay, so she's having a good time, right? But at the same time, imagine if you had to do this all day long and you couldn't just put the baton down. It's like you have this energy that has to be expended all the time, and you're constantly running into moments where you can't get to fully express it. You can't get to fully let it out, and it causes a lot of like frustration. So it might not seem like frustration when you see this card, but best believe that the challenge that you're having is how not to feel frustrated, how not to feel like you should just stop wanting to express yourself fully and stop being yourself fully because you're not being able to see something through the way you want to, because you keep having these moments come up. And part of the wound with Two of Swords coming up is that this unknown, it drives you insane. It's something that comes from some deep issue, this deep hurt from possibly a childhood situation, or maybe even some sort of betrayal. But you have this feeling of being like completely unable to know what's happening, but just feel like something's off. And that wound makes it so that every time you run into an obstacle, it reminds you of that, even if it's not always that bad. Like, it's not the wound, but it sort of triggers you, your wounds being triggered. So when you have this energy you want to expend, and you want to do something with your energy and your time and your creativity, but then when you run into an obstacle, it feels like this is what's happening to you. And that's not what's happening all the time. Sure, some of the time you are feeling that way, but not all the time. And it's like it's just two trains like barreling down this track at the same time. And they just keep crashing, and you got to keep starting over every freaking time. And that's what's really making it difficult. You're sabotaging yourself. Self-sabotaging is that you take that sword out and you cut shit down immediately. The good shit and the bad shit. You don't care. You're cutting it. It's going. Goodbye. And what you end up doing sometimes without really realizing is that you cut yourself short. Sometimes when you are cutting down something that actually needs to be cut, that you swing so wide on it that you actually catch yourself sometimes, or you might cut the good parts. You might take a little bit too much off the top. And so you end up self-sabotaging yourself because you want things to be fair and balanced, but you want it so badly that you end up putting so much of this excess energy. It's like that's the sword that she's throwing in the air. All right. And so she's cutting off some of her own hair. She's cutting off, people can't get near her. Okay. That's how you're self-sabotaging yourself, is that you're using this sword not as judiciously as you need to. Your self-limiting beliefs is that, I need to be protected, and don't you dare come near me. No one can be near me unless I say it's okay. And that what ends up happening is that you feel like you have to always stand guard. And because you're standing guard, you're also not moving forward. You are in, wait, let me just make sure this is what this means, because I feel like I'm messing that part up. Yeah. That you don't trust people. You looking like you expect a fight. You are expecting a fight. Your perception is that anyone says no to you is because they're trying to fight. Anyone disagrees is because they're trying to fight. Anyone that doesn't like fall in line with what your vision is for what, if they're the one presenting the obstacle, it's because of some nefarious thing, as opposed to, well, we really literally don't have the logistics for that right now, that you're not patient enough sometimes. Other thing that you are self-limiting on is that you don't believe you have all the tools, right? That you are the magician, that you have all these things, but you're limiting yourself and thinking that everything could happen because you say so. That everything's going to happen because you want it. Because everything's going to happen because you can do it easily. Why can't they? Why can't they do it too? I know how to do this. Why is it so hard for you? That is what's causing this negative, you have a negative assumption about other people, that something that comes really easy for you should be easy for them too. Cut the bullshit out. I don't want to hear it. That sort of mentality, that sort of, it's sort of like you swinging really wide with the sword. That's what that boils down to. You're swinging so wide with it. Like, you can do this. Just do it. Right? Like, take it easy. Take it easy. The truth is that you need to be gentle with the things that you're trying to grow. You need to be gentle with the things that you're trying to grow, and use two hands and cradle it and hold it carefully. The Ace of Pentacles is the beginning of something amazing. The truth is that you have the beginning of something amazing. but you have to learn how to be gentler with it. You have to learn how to be patient with it. It takes time to grow from seed. You're growing from seed at that. You're not growing from like a cutting. You're growing from seed. You have to germinate your ideas yourself. And you have the capability to do so, but you have to be gentle. That's what your challenge, and it's hard to say that to you, Aries, but the truth of the matter is that you are not being gentle enough with yourself, with other people, with these projects. Like, they need to happen now, and what's taking so long, and this person is messing up again. Just give it to me, I'll do it. Motivation. What motivates you? You got 3 cards. Knight of Wands. I mean, clearly setting the tone, beating the drum, and making everything happen motivates you. You love okay, that was a terrible beat, but you like beating the drum. You like beating the drum and making things happen. You like that feeling. It motivates you. You love seeing action, and you love being the person that has the action. Like, you're setting the tempo to the action. You love that. 2 of Cups. You actually like it very much, and you feel very motivated by dope ass connections that make you feel good. Like when you could like hold hands like this with somebody. Oh my God. How amazing is that? How amazing is that? Because what ends up happening is that it lightens your load a little bit, and it makes you feel like you don't have to do everything yourself. So it's very motivating when you feel like you've connected with someone else that can meet you where you are. You also feel very much motivated. This is the 7 of Wands. By knowing that you could be in this bubble. Like, this card has come up so much for so many people, but for you, my dear Aries, the 7 of Wands is a motivation card for you, because you like feeling like you have some control, and that you are building up the energy and the capability to handle whatever might come your way. That someone could try some shit, but you'll be ready for them. You'll be ready, because you are so centered, and you feel motivated by feeling centered and in control. And that anything that comes your way that's going to go against that, you know exactly what to do. That's very motivating for you, that you were prepared. That you were prepared, and that you were strong, and that you were capable. I hope that was helpful to get you from your challenge into your motivation and moving forward with your divine plan for your life. With the divine plan for your life. Okay, Taurus, your reading, your challenge is the World. The World. And what's crazy is that this is a card that is usually such a positive one to see in the reading. But unfortunately, the reason why this is a challenge for you is that you feel like you have it on your shoulders. You feel like the world's on your shoulders, all the decisions to be made, all the ways in which you want to be successful, all the things that you want for yourself is a challenge. You are hyper focused on success. You're hyper focused on working hard to obtain that success. You're hyper focused on all the things you need in order to be successful in this world. That it drives you to the point of exhaustion. It drives you to the point of isolation. And if you don't believe me, let's keep looking at these cards. So for the wound, the things that you have been carrying, the 10 of Swords. Now the wound is a card about how you've been, the wound is asking you to think about how you've been hurt in the past. And for this card to come up, for you and the way that you have been processing and moving towards wanting for yourself, it's this idea of lack. Your mental experience has been that you are not enough, that you can't have enough, and the only way that you can get it is by working really, really hard. It's by being the absolute best that you can be. It's about of like physical pain, that you will work yourself so hard because you don't feel like you're enough. Your 10 of Swords is that you are not thinking and feeling like you are enough. That's the wound. There's some, and it could be a childhood thing. You could have been a child who wasn't given enough encouragement or support, or you never had your wins celebrated as a child, that no one really recognized how difficult something was for you that you were able to accomplish, that you were probably a child that just felt like your parents or your father or your mother just wasn't giving you enough support and encouragement and recognizing your amazing capabilities and how difficult things have been for you that you've been able to work through anyway. So that wound is what's making you feel like the world is on your shoulders and you got to work yourself even harder. You got to do as much as you possibly can to gain the success, to gain the recognition, to gain the security. That's the wound. And sabotaging, the way you're self-sabotaging yourself is that you literally are carrying so much on your own. You are really out of balance with how you approach this, that you are feeling like the way that you can gain success and greatness is by working yourself on one end, that you don't give yourself enough love, you don't give yourself enough self-care, that you don't give yourself enough, you just are so hyper focused on one that you are out of balance, that you are just focusing on material gain, you're focusing on that. And what's self-sabotaging you is that you say yes to things that you should be saying no to. You are not allowing yourself the opportunity to carry a load that feels more equal. You're not even giving yourself the chance to say yes to things that really feel good. You're looking to say yes to things that are going to help you gain access to the things that you want in this world, that you see the opportunities that are out there, and you're saying yes to things that you believe are going to give you the sort of success that you want in this world. And unfortunately, because of the wound behind the actions, right? The wounds here, this is heavy, 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 heavy. This you're carrying is so much heavier because you are out of balance, because you were looking for the success and you're thinking that this is how you get it, and you're saying yes to things you shouldn't say yes to, and you're taking on too much. You're seeing all the ways in which you could be successful in this world, and you're saying yes to them, responsibilities, opportunities that you just without much discernment, and it's pulling you out of balance. And yes, you might be gaining a lot in the physical realm, material stuff, but because you don't feel good, because it doesn't fulfill you, it doesn't feel like you're in balance, okay? The limiting beliefs. You've got the Hermit for limiting beliefs. You got to do this by yourself. Sometimes the Hermit is a great card to come up because it's time to do some reflection. It's time to be retrospective. It's time to be, introspective. It's a good time to look into yourself. But the limiting beliefs is that you are alone. You are on this lonely island, that only you can do these things, that you're the only one that has the light and the answers. And that's not true. That's you're limiting yourself, that you can only feel safe in this particular corner. You can only feel safe saying yes to things and not saying no, because if you say no to someone, they're going to say no to you about something that you want, instead of being okay with being honest about how you feel about things, that you would rather say yes, that you would rather put yourself in situations that don't feel 100% good to you, because that's the only way that you see as a way out or a way up, right? And so the limiting beliefs is that your perception is that you can do it alone, and that you have to do it alone, and that no one's going to understand you, that no one's going to get it, and that you could explain to someone that really you care about and they might not get it. That's your own perception of things, and that's a limiting belief. You're limiting yourself because you're not opening up to people. And the truth is, 3 of Cups. 3 of Cups is the truth. That if you were to share and talk to other people, if you were to have that, even if it's just one loved one, even if it's that one friend, even if you're sitting down talking to yourself and you're journaling to yourself, it does not matter. You need to talk. You need to have community with people. You need to share the load. And the best way that you can do that is by actually talking to someone about what you are feeling, how heavy things feel for you, and delegating some of that responsibility. You think you're the only person who wants success in this world? And you're the only one that knows how to get it? You think you're the only one that knows how to get it, but you're not. The way you get to this is by this right here. community, celebrating the small wins, celebrating the small wins, celebrating the success, celebrating what you've been able to accomplish. That is how you get to this. This is how you get the world, and in a balanced way, in a balanced, more whole way. Now, don't get me wrong. You might share with people that you care about, who care about you, and they still can't meet you where you are. And that's part of the risk that you're not willing to take. That if you express to other people and you're more vulnerable about what you are wanting for yourself, that other people might not get it, or they might not be able to support you the way you want. You need to be explicit. Tell your spouse what you need them to do. Tell your children what you need them to do. Tell them how they can help you feel less hurt. Tell them how they can help you feel more successful and less alone and isolated and hurt. It's possible that you might share how you feel. It's possible that you might tell them what you need and they still can't meet you there. If that is the case, do not take that personal. Do not allow the fact that someone else can't meet you where you are saying you need them to be and take that personal. Don't take it personal. You run the risk of them not being able to meet you, but it's a bigger risk, a more emotionally and physically and mental risk, not sharing what it is that you need with the people who are around you that are a part of your community. You need to talk to your friend or friends. You need to talk to your spouse. You need to talk to your partner. You need to have a conversation with them. You need to communicate your needs. You need to express the need for community and teamwork. You need to be explicit with that. And that will alone take the edge off of yourself for feeling like you have to do this by yourself. They might not meet you. That has nothing to do with you. They might not meet you where you're saying that you need to be met. That has nothing to do with you. You need to at least meet for yourself by saying explicitly what you need from the people who are around you that are in your circle. If they can't meet your needs, then that tells you something else about who's in your circle. It also tells you that you're not the only one struggling. Okay? Get that off your chest. All right? The truth is that there are people around you who are ready and willing to help you, but you need to be explicit in the fact, because you're so ready to do it by yourself. I got this. I got this. You don't. You can't. You can't get to this world and get the success that you want by yourself. It's not truly possible. And even if you're able to get the material security, you're going to turn around and be by yourself. And some people might say, oh, I want to be by myself. That's a lie. That is a lie. Don't lie to yourself. You don't want to be by yourself. You don't want to have to carry the load alone, and you don't have to. What motivates you? You got two cards. 4 of Cups, which is hilarious to see this as a motivation. But then again, with Taurus, I'm not surprised. And Knight of Swords motivates you. These two together tells me you like to solve problems. You like to solve problems. All right? That you like to see forward action. You like to have the opportunity. I mean, not that you like it, but when they come up, these moments of issues of not feeling like you have enough, and then you find a way to gain some forward momentum and some like a goal, that's so encouraging for you. That you could solve this problem, that you could see clearly the next step. That is so motivating for you, Taurus. If you're a Taurus sun, moon, or rising, that is so motivating for you, that you have the answers, that you don't have to take a handout. You don't really want a handout. It's motivating for you to know that you could fill these empty cups on your own with what you're thinking about, that you could move forward and move swiftly and see actions. You also really enjoy incremental, because you have a lot of patience. That's the beautiful thing about Taurus. You have a lot of patience and determination. But you also really enjoy when things that you've done a way back when is starting to pay off. When things are starting to pick up speed. You really feel motivated by that because you did that by yourself. There's nothing wrong with that motivation. There's nothing wrong with feeling like small wins is motivating, but you're not celebrating them enough. You're not sharing them with other people enough. You're not talking about them enough. All right? That's what you need to do in order to feel this fuller. And the more you share, the more you open up with people who you care about and who care about you, the more likely, Taurus, sun, moon, or rising, the more likely that you are going to be able to feel less alone. And then you can get rid of this limiting belief that you have to do it by yourself. I'm wishing you so much luck and so much love, Taurus. Gemini. Gemini, sun, moon, or rising. Your challenge. Ace of Swords. Ace of Swords and 10 of Cups. All right, Gemini, your challenge is that you have so much that you know, that you are capable of having all these great ideas and just like a never-ending ability to take in information, process information, take in information and process information, and boom, back, boom, back. Like, you got this sort of going on, right? And you're so good at it. You can look at other people's lives and be like, boom, 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 I got it, I got it, I got it. But when it comes to yourself and how to feel happy and complete, woo, challenge that you will be working this to death, trying to understand how you can get to this point. Like, this would be in her mind right here, right? Let's just put this together like this. That's what you're thinking about. And that's the challenge for you. This is where you feel challenged. How can I get that success, emotional success, physical success, mental success, and love? Like, how can I get there? And you could do this for so many things, but your challenge is, why can't I seem to understand how to get this part? Why can't I seem to figure this part out? What am I missing? Your wound. And this is likely going to be something that you might not see right away, and you're going to have to sit with it. You're going to have to sit, especially because you're so good at thinking so deeply. This is not the time to be thinking so deeply when it comes to your wound. You have to be feeling it. And you don't like feeling things like this. All right, here it is. 5 of Cups. There's things that you have not let go of still. Your wounds are festering. They're festering because you've been trying to process them mentally and not process them emotionally. You're not crying enough. You're not talking you don't go to therapy. You don't think you need to go to therapy. All right, you think you can just mentally figure it out. I think you can be logical about things. You can't all the time. You need to be able to feel through some of this stuff, Gemini, sun, moon, or rising. You're going to have to feel through this. All right, you're going to have to feel through this. You've been hurt in the past, and these are wounds that have been just there. And you need to let them go. You need to let them go. And the only way you can let those wounds or these wounds go, this hurt go from the past, it can be recent past, it can be your childhood, it could be when you were a teenager, it can be when you were first married, it can be your first relationship, it can be your first house, whatever wounds you have that you are still holding on to, you have swept them under the rug, or you put a Band-Aid on it and it's a gaping hole. You can't think your way out of a gaping hole that's festering on your arm or your heart or your body. You need to look at it. You gotta look at it. You can't be thinking about it. You gotta look at it and care for it. Give yourself that care. That's what your wound is needing right now. You can't think your way out of it. And how are you self-sabotaging yourself? Because you're smart. High Priestess. You know what a high priestess is? Someone who has so much intuitive abilities, and you're not listening. You're self-sabotaging yourself because you're not listening to this intuitive hits that you get about what you should do, what you should say, what you really should be focused on. You're being given this stuff all the time, but you don't take it in. You ignore it. You second guess that. And then you're out of balance, disharmony with Temperance. You're self-sabotaging yourself. You are not in balance. You're not harmonizing between your mental and your emotional. You are heavy on the mental. That's why my friend here comes up. That's why the High Priestess comes up, and then Temperance comes up. That you are not focusing enough energy on taking in this information from spirit, from your guides, from watching something or listening to something. You feel it. You hear it. You hear this song differently. You watch this movie. You feel the message differently, but you're not taking it in. You're not allowing yourself to be in this intuitive mode, and you could be very intuitive, but you don't listen to yourself. You don't listen to spirit. You don't listen to the higher self, and you are out of balance because of it. You are not in harmony because of it. That's how you're self-sabotaging yourself. Your limiting beliefs. Oof, Lord. 10 of Swords. 10 of Swords. That people are going to keep hurting you, so what's the point? What's the point? People are going to keep hurting me anyway. People are always out there to hurt and harm me. And I got to move alone, King of Wands. I got to do things on my own. I know the actions to take. I got to do it by myself. I am the ultimate person who's going to be able to help me. No one else. King of Wands. Impulsive with the things that you're doing sometimes. And also, can I just tell you, limiting beliefs is also stemming from not speaking truth on your own life and then sharing shit about other people that aren't true. Gemini, Sun, Moon, or Rising. That's feeding into that fear and that limiting beliefs about other people because you participate in it. If you are participating in gossip and misinformation, then guess what? Of course, you're going to think that that's what this world is about and people are going to do because you're participating in it too. The truth. Actions start from your mind. That's the truth. Whatever action you need to take is going to start from your mind. See, you came up with this twice. Look at these cards. This one is saying actions based on your thinking. Okay, actions based on your thinking. This one is saying you are already an amazing processor. Okay, you are a processor beyond what most people even realize. You take in information and you could dissect it and see it in ways that other people just can't. This one is also saying spirit is talking to you. Look at how much it's going straight to the freaking head. Okay? The truth is, your action stems from your thought process. Whatever you want to do for yourself in a positive direction starts with your mind, Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Rising. It starts with your mind, Gemini. You're going to have to, really have to consider what you got going on in here and how that affects what you do and how that affects the space around you. Because this is not about anybody else. This is about you. You already have a whole other side of you. Gemini is the twins, right? One wants to go left, one wants to go right. One wants to be good, one wants to be bad. Get them on the same page. And the way you get them on the same page is focusing on what you are challenged by. This right here. You want this, right? You want this for yourself, right? You want this ease, this joy, this comfort, this happiness, love, community, legacy. You want that for yourself, right? That starts here in your mind. You can't act on it until you get your mind right. That's the truth. You can't act on any of this stuff. Whatever you want for you're not being honest with yourself. If you're honest with yourself, if you start letting go of these wounds and you really let them go, cry about it. Cry about it. Let it go. Talk to a therapist and let the wounds heal once and for all so you can move forward. So that way your mind won't be the one that's really your enemy. It's like you are your own worst enemy. There is nobody else. No one else is showing up in these cards. It's you. It's literally you. What motivates you? Because you're challenged by something and all these things, your wound, the sabotaging behavior, your limiting beliefs, your inability to see the truth is what's stopping you from feeling fully motivated to act. But what you feel motivated by, 4 of Pentacles, having your own, secure in what you got. Okay, knowing this is mine, no one else can touch it. This is my special thing. I created this, I got this, this is mine. No one can take it away from me. And feeling completely, utterly controlled, utterly in control of what you have. Okay, that's what 4 of Pentacles is saying that you're motivated by. And also, you actually want to have fun. You actually want to enjoy life. You actually do want to spend time with other people that feel the same way as you and enjoy yourself. That you do want the community, but you also want to just have fun. that you don't want to be serious all the time, that you don't want to have to feel alone, that you actually want to be able to heal from this and not feel like you're the only one out here. But you are limiting yourself with this belief system. No one is putting that on you. You're the one holding on to it. You want to be able to enjoy life. You want to have fun. You want to accomplish things and have your own. That's what motivates you. But you have all this stuff sandwiched in between what you're challenged and what you want for yourself and what you're able to. Because this and this is the same thing. All right. This might be more familiar. This might be like family. This might be, personal love. This might be seeing yourself as a part of a whole in the world and celebrating and having fun. But either way, this is what you want. But your challenge is this. Gemini, sun, moon, rising. Your challenge is this. All right. See someone, start talking to people that you really care about, who care about you. Process your emotions. And that's why I keep saying you need to see someone that's a professional that's going to help you work, because it's a lot. You've buried so much. But the first step could really be in you getting on your knees tonight and praying. It could really be about you telling God, I'm ready. Please send someone. Please help me. Please help me see how I could do better. That might be how you start off. You might not be able to go to a therapist right now. Your therapist is up there. Your therapist is in here. Your therapist is already in here. Absolutely. A professional that you see is important, but you could start right now by yourself, because you're already so good at processing emotion. We already said that. You're already getting these downloads that you're not listening to. Start listening to them. Okay, Gemini? Okay, Cancer, your challenge is 6 of Wands. 6 of Wands is your challenge, Cancer. Cancer, sun, moon, or rising signs. Well, your challenge is that this person is someone who's actually in the spotlight. And Cancer secretly wants that, and at the same time is completely terrified of that. They actually want the recognition. Maybe they don't need to be on stage, but they want to be acknowledged. They want to be someone who is seen for what they bring to the table, and they're not getting that. Not getting that enough. And it's really driving them to feel really pessimistic and bitter. Not that there's any reason for you not to feel that way. People are not telling you, because you always seem to have it together, Cancer. You always seem to be cool, calm, and collected, Cancer. You don't allow yourself to be vulnerable enough, Cancer. So people are not as forthcoming with how they see that you are amazing. You always seem to have answers for other people. So they don't really see how you need the recognition. You're always giving us advice, Cancer. You're always telling us how to do this and that, Cancer. You're always so da-da-da-da, Cancer, fill in the blank. Cancer rising. Cancer sun, Cancer moon. Your challenge is that you don't feel acknowledged. You don't feel like you're getting your flowers. We're the wound right here. You've been hurt because you felt left behind. You felt used and then dismissed. That's where it's coming from. You've done things for people so much in the past, and they just don't give back. They walk away. They walk away to the sunset. All right? They've walked away and left you there when they felt better, and they didn't turn back around and say, okay, how can I help you? That's the wound. Oh God, it's such a difficult, painful thing. And I understand Cancer. I understand Cancer, moon, sun, risings. I totally understand. It's important to recognize that that's what you're feeling. You feel like you want the recognition, and because people have never given back to you, and we're going to go deeper into this, but that's where that's coming from. That's where that wound is coming. And maybe even from childhood. It could be recent past. It doesn't have to be something that is so long ago, but you've had this sort of trend, what it is, a trend in your life that you've been there for people and they didn't show up for you. And it's very rare for someone to show up for you. And most times you're surprised by someone else showing up for you. So how do you self-sabotage yourself? 3 of Cups. You carry this pain and you're trying to heal from it, but it stops you from being great. It stops you from being full. It stops you from feeling complete and whole, because it just like it keeps getting reopened. You keep feeling left behind. You keep feeling like someone has left you, and you feel isolated so much. Your wound just keeps coming up, that it keeps reopening up the hurt and the pain and the anguish. And that sometimes it feels like you might even scream and cry about it, and no one's really there, because no one could be a Cancer like you. No one could be a Cancer to you. You are the mother of the zodiac. There is no other mother. You are the mother of the zodiac. And moms are constantly, especially ones that are really good at being a mom and caring and taking care of shit, moms often feel like they aren't getting back the same motherly, except from maybe their own moms, and sometimes not even from their own moms. It's hard to be the mother of the zodiac and not feel like you ever get mothered. So this self-sabotaging behavior is that you are constantly feeling hurt. You're constantly wearing your heart on your sleeve, and you don't even try to. You don't even try to. Limiting beliefs. 6 of Pentacles. You're not getting back what you give. You give more than you get. You see how it has this infinity sign? It's like you are constantly giving and giving and giving and not getting back. Right? This would be you up here, handing it away, giving, and someone always has their hand out. Someone is always going to have their hand out, Cancer. Always. Always. Now, it feels too uncomfortable sometimes for you to just like hold back your coins. It doesn't feel natural to you. And most people are upset when you do, because it feels so different. It feels so, it's like with the sun doesn't shine, it just feels colder, right? Even if it's in the middle of the summer and the sun is not out, it doesn't feel as warm. So it doesn't feel natural to you, but you have this belief that you should hold back. And because it's not like you to do that, it sort of puts you in this weird funk and back to this feeling again, because you're not doing what naturally comes to you. So here's the wound coming back up. I don't feel good. You feel good sharing. You feel good helping. So when you're not giving, you just feel like I'm not being myself, but I need to hold back something. I need to hold back something, right? I can't give everything away. And it's just this vicious cycle. So what's the truth? What's going to help you get out of this? All right. So first thing, the Hermit. It is time for you to sit with yourself and give to yourself. When you're in hermit mode, it's not so much about isolating yourself from everybody else, but it's about giving you back the space, the time, the energy that you need. Giving to yourself is what you should be doing when you're in a hermit mode. Most times what you do, if you do hermit, you're removing yourself completely and you're just turning everything off. And after a while, you need to come back because you're like, it's too quiet, right? Because no one's there for you, but you have to be there for you. You can create your own little bubble. You can. What's it? 7 of Pentacles? No, 7 of Wands. You can. But you have to be working on yourself, because these guys are going to be waiting for you all the time. They're going to want something from you. This one is like right about probably your kid, someone who you can't ignore for any length of time. That person is ready right there. All right. But this could be you when you're hermiting, finding your peace, giving back to yourself, giving back the care and the attention that you need, recognizing your own strengths. All right, that's your challenge, because you can't get this. You're not going to get this from other people. You've got to give this to yourself. You know what she's seeing when she's here? Do you know what she's seeing? She's seeing this. She's giving herself the recognition. She's giving herself the attention. She's giving herself the acknowledgments. That's what you need to do. All right. No one else can give that to you. You got to give it to yourself. And that's why you feel so challenged by it, because you're looking for other people to recognize your strengths and stuff, and they're not going to be able to do that. They're just not going to be able to do that. Not because they're bad people. Some people are just not built that way. There's a wide variety of people on this planet. Some of those people are not going to be able to tell you you are amazing. And sometimes when people tell you, you can't even hear it. Sometimes people tell you how good you are, you can't even hear it. People get tired of trying to talk to you about how awesome you are because you're not listening. What motivates you? You got a lot. Ooh, good Lord. The good thing is that there's so much that motivates you. And that's what makes you such a great mom. Mom energy. That's what makes you such a great mom energy, Cancer, Moon, Sun, and Rising. That's what makes you so good at giving, because you are motivated by so much. First, the devil. Seeing temptation and busting right through them shits. Like, this is not what we're going to do today. You're not going to rob me. You're not going to take away from me. You're not going to tempt me to do something. Although, when you're able to get yourself emotionally removed from a situation that's draining, that's motivating for you. Oh my God, when you cut the bullshit, that is so motivating. When you see what's coming and you recognize that you're just being tempted to do something crazy, and you see this little hand saying, come on, you know what to do, and you're like, get away from me, devil. That is very motivating, because you're able to see your strength in action. That's what motivates you. You're also motivated by celebrating, Four of Wands, hanging out with people, having a good time, like-minded individuals. Okay? Small wins, big wins, celebrating. You actually are motivated by shit working out, things being fun. Not always that you have to be on all the time, that you have to be in charge of other people, that people are taking care of themselves. And people are able to take care of themselves because of something that you said or that you encourage them to do. And you see them doing that. That is so encouraging. You celebrate with people when they win. That's what's so amazing about Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising signs, is that they celebrate with the people that they're actually helping. That's very motivating for you to see other people winning. It makes you feel like a winner too. And that's a beautiful thing. You're also, the Emperor motivates you. Oh my gosh. Things happening in order, things happening the way they're supposed to. Feeling like, okay, I'm gonna do this. This is the result. That is very motivating, because it has never failed you yet. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna say this. That's what makes you such a great mother energy. Again, is that you know what to do, and when you follow through with for other people, it's very motivating for you to do something for other people and see the immediate results of it. That's very motivating. Being in charge, being sought as the person with the answers. Okay, that actually comes up twice in a different way. The Hierophant is very motivating for you. Learning new things, and also being a teacher. Being someone who is seen as not just a guide, but as a source, a resource. Being seen as that is that's why you're like, how come this don't happen then? How come no one's doing this for me? If people see me as this and this, how come they're not also celebrating? Because this is a different type of energy. This is not this. The Hierophant and the Emperor is not the same as this. This is like temporal. This is fleeting. But you put so much effort and so much energy on wanting this that you don't see how people see you as this. This is a lot more powerful, my friend. Being seen as the Emperor, being seen as a Hierophant is way more powerful. You got to switch that importance a little bit. Finally, things moving forward, getting in balance where you got your negative, I shouldn't say negative, but your shadow aspects in line, that you can move forward. That is very encouraging to you. Forward momentum is very, very motivating for you. Cancer, you just really need to spend a little bit more time on shifting what's really important for you and giving back to yourself. You don't have to hold back from being who you are naturally, but you do need to put more energy into you, because you're the only one that's going to be able to fulfill your needs. You're the only one that's going to be able to give back to yourself. That's the truth. You have to take care of yourself. You have to be the Cancer energy for yourself. You have to do it for you. No one can do it for you. This is temporal. This is fleeting. This is like an IG model. This doesn't have a whole lot of weight in the long-term effects. It feels good. It feels very like exciting to be recognized on a larger scale, but to be seen as an Emperor, to be seen as a Hierophant, to be seen as someone who's always there for people who are, and you also celebrate for people when they're winning. that matters so much more. That matters so much more. You just have to switch what you are seeing and start giving that to yourself. If you want to be seen, if you want this for yourself, give it to yourself. Put yourself on stage more. Put yourself on stage more. Okay? Leo, what you were challenged by, you have 9 of Pentacles. What is a conflict? What is a daunting or difficult task for you, Leo? Is that you recognize something, is that money is not everything. You can have all the money you want, but you are still seeking and still needing. That you can have all the abundance, you can have all the trappings of a good life, but that is not enough. And you know that, and you feel that. That's what the challenge is for you, Leo. Okay? And the wound, where is this coming from? Well, maybe you were taught that you got to save and you got to hustle and you got to have all your ducks in a row and you got to make sure that no one touches what you got. But this person doesn't have anything else except for that bag. She's not that happy with just the bag. It might feel good to a certain point. You've been hurt by that mentality. That you've been hurt by that. Maybe you've seen that in the past, that you see this person got hurt because they were depending upon someone else for money, or they got hurt because they didn't have their own, they weren't saving their own. That mentality is where the wound comes in. Why you realize now that this is actually, well, this is great to have, to pick and choose and to have money and to have your needs met. You also recognize that that is not enough. That you were focusing so much, and your past history has always been about having money and keeping money and growing money, or abundance, or just things, that you didn't spend enough time on forming relationships, that you didn't spend enough time on having deeper connections with people. Sabotage. How do you self-sabotage yourself? You see this person looking out the window with not going anywhere, not taking the moments, not taking the opportunities to move forward, not taking the chance and the risk to see something that you want and go for it, and just instead saying, I gotta wait for someone else to show up with me because I can't do it by myself. That's how you're self-sabotaging yourself, that you have plenty of things that you can accomplish on your own, but you are just waiting for the right moment. You're waiting for other people to join in or to support or to encourage you. And you're just out there looking instead. You can travel if you want. You can go alone, but you don't want to. And so you're self-sabotaging yourself in the sense where you don't allow yourself to move forward. You don't allow yourself to take risks when it comes to larger things that you have in mind, and that you really want people to be with you, but you don't have anyone else with you. You just have the things. Your limiting beliefs. Limiting beliefs, Leo, is that you are hyper focused on the process of thinking. You're hyper focused on the thought process behind things. There's not a whole lot of emotional connection involved here. Okay? And that your assumption is that all you got to do is be straight in your mind. All you got to do is just have this going on, and that everything else will fall into place. And this has helped you with feeling secure financially, or at least working towards financial security, that you have the capacity of thinking of great ideas that's going to help you. But what's limiting is that alone doesn't drive you. Just having the ideas is not enough to accomplish the ideas. That you actually haven't been thinking about how to form teams, how to form connections. You've been focusing on one aspect of success and not the other aspect. And the truth is, you have plenty to choose from. You have plenty to choose from. 8 of Pentacles. You've got plenty to choose from. Okay? You could pick and choose. You can pick people, teams. You could pick activities. You could pick anything. The truth is that you have to recognize that you are not alone, that you have people who are going to be able and willing to. But I think the first thing for you, Leo, is recognizing that you've got to make some choices. You've got to actually make some choices. What do you want to do? Right? Look, you have it all. You have what you need to go, but you're not. You're sitting, you're sitting, you're sitting, you're sitting, you're not moving, okay? You gotta go. You're sitting and you're thinking. And you're holding on to what you got, all right? That is not enough. You need to start moving forward. Because what's motivating you is the possibilities that this world holds. That's what's motivating you. That you have so much possibility. That you know that this world is so filled with amazing accomplishments that you could have for yourself and connections. All right? It motivates you to be the center of attention. There's nothing wrong with being the center of attention. There's nothing wrong with that. But how does other people fit into your circle? How else? Because it could be motivating to feel like you've got it all under control and you're making the decisions, you're calling the shots, and that you are successful, but you are also, what I'm seeing, not in a relationship that is really fulfilling, because you can only gain so much. You can only gain so much from this. It's great. It's great to have what you need. But you are also, I'm looking, all of these people are alone. Okay? All of these women, or all of these people, I'm going to go back to people because I don't know if they, look. There's no cups. There's no cups. There's no emotion. And that's what you really are missing here, Leo. You're missing that emotional connection with, maybe even with yourself, with other people. You might have the security, you might have the capabilities, but you are missing on having a fuller life, and the desires are not being met because money can only take you so far. Okay, Virgo, your challenge is the Empress. Oof. Wow. The challenge and your desire for wanting to share your creative energy, your abundance of just this amazing part of yourself. And also getting the Empress and being a Virgo is really an interesting combination. Okay? What you are challenged by is that you don't feel comfortable sharing this part of you. This part of you is very soft and sensitive and intuitive and flows with the way the world works and the way that you want to work, but you're not finding a space for all of that energy, and that you almost feel like you need some protection so you can show that part. It's like that part just seems like it's going to get taken and abused and hurt, and it's because of the amount of anxiety in your wound. You have this anxiety, this negative self-thinking, the negative self-talk, this way that you see yourself is really rooted into this feeling, possibly from childhood, possibly from your teenagehood, but you have experiences of having so much anxiety around who you are, what you offer, what's true about you. Because the thing is, you are multiple things. You have always known that about yourself, but you've only really shared the parts of you that you feel like are going to be accepted. And the problem is that the parts that you really want to show that are truly you are so delicate. The people don't realize how delicate a Virgo really is. They just see someone who's accomplishing goals, who is very driven, but that's because you put so much in here that you don't ever really let the parts that are really soft and creative really shine. And if you do, you kind of hide a lot of your own creativity. You hide a lot of your own artistic parts because you don't feel like people are going to get it. And you're concerned that they're going to feel some type of way about you. And it's like that line, Erykah Badu says it at the start of when she was sharing the Tyrone live in a concert, and she said, now keep in mind that I'm an artist and I'm sensitive about my shit. That is you, Virgo. You are an artist and you are very sensitive about your shit. And because you're so sensitive, the wound comes from the fact that you have had experiences where people didn't get it. They made you feel some type of way. They made you feel like you weren't enough. They made you feel like you are probably too different. You didn't feel like you fit in. You probably felt like a misfit for most of your life. And because of that, it's hard for you to find your comfort zone with sharing who you really are and what you're really capable of. And so you self-sabotage yourself. You got the Tower. You self-sabotage yourself by doing the same things all the time and not taking any risks. Like you, the Tower is supposed to be the card where you just take the things that are no longer serving you, and you sort of, it just falls apart, and you rebuild, and you see the beauty of rebuilding. For it to come up and sabotage is that you are afraid to rebuild. You are afraid to take down and strip yourself of the things that no longer serve you, because those things that don't serve you serve others. Those that don't serve you help others feel comfortable. And you're so used to helping other people feel comfortable that the idea of you stripping down to your bare bones and restarting is very scary. So you don't do that. Instead, you do what's safe. You do what's comfortable. You do what makes logical sense to do. You don't really explore this really creative, divine energy that you have inside of you, because you don't want to be hurt. You don't want to feel like people don't get you. And because you already have this thought that people aren't going to get you, you already have this negative thought about who you are and what you bring to the table. You don't want to share that, Virgo sun, moon, and rising. And you sabotage yourself by not clearing out what doesn't serve you. You hold on to it. You have a lot of clutter of things that don't serve you. Limiting beliefs that there isn't enough. King of Pentacles. That there isn't enough, and that you can't be secure with this. Like, this doesn't lead to this, which is not true. You are limiting your belief and thinking that you can't be this energy and share this energy and have this type of life, and that's not true at all. That's not true at all. Okay, you're limiting yourself thinking that you can't achieve this sort of comfort and prosperity. And you also, 5 of Wands, you also feel like you would like to do teamwork, and you feel like you can't sometimes. You feel like you have to do it by yourself. And then the way that you get to gain success is by doing it alone. And you're capable of doing it alone. And you also see that people sometimes are very much fighting with each other to get to the top spot. The thing is a limiting belief. That goes back to your negative thinking. You're negatively thinking. This card can also represent teamwork to help someone get to the top. That person could be you at the top. This could be you right here, and you're a part of this team effort to help someone else. But the negative energy, the limiting beliefs, is that no, you have to fight to get to the top because no one's going to want to help you. And that the way that you gain success is by working alone, right? That's what your negative self thinking, or your limiting beliefs, and you are acting in the opposite of what's actually true. So what is true? Page of Swords. You have your ideas, like you could marry your creativity with your logic, and it could help you stay afloat and get across this very difficult world that we live in. This very difficult, like here, crossing over this chasm actually represents more of your own negative thoughts, that you could use your knowledge and logic and your inspiration and your creativity to get across that you could use this. This is what's underneath here, my friends. Let me just put it together for you. This energy is what you can get across. You can get across this negative self-thinking, negative thought process by using your knowledge, your analytical abilities, and your inspiration and creativity to get across. That's what you can do. But you're going to have to do a lot of this first. And right now, what you're doing is not getting rid of what doesn't serve you enough. Okay, you're holding on to things too much, and you don't get to see how there's so much beautiful energy that comes out of the breakdown. What else is the truth? The wheel. That you are in these cycles over and over and over again. They present themselves in so many different ways, but you have to choose differently. You have to choose, all right? You have to choose to stay in balance, and the way you can stay in balance, look, balance and balance, is by marrying this with this. Okay, using your mind, but also using your intuition and what you have naturally coming to you all the time, Virgo. Virgo sun, moon, or rising. Motivation is interesting. You got 5 of Pentacles and 5 of Swords for your motivation. You don't want this for yourself. You don't want to feel like you're left out in the dark. You don't want to feel abandoned. You don't want to feel lost. You don't want to feel this way. So you're motivated to avoid this sort of feeling. Even though the key is here, even though you're never really locked out, you're still motivated by the fact that you were able to overcome obstacles that come your way. This is a motivation for you. You're also motivated, and this is crazy, that you're motivated actually by your own thought process. Your thought process is helping and hindering you at the same time. Okay, the fact that you were constantly in your own head is actually a motivator for you, because you can find so much information in there. And it could be, again, because not everything you're thinking about is always, you do have some hope. You do have some things that you see is possible for yourself, even when you're thinking negatively, that there is some light in this card. There is some there is some availability of hope in this card, even though you do tend to think negatively, that sometimes there is some light. And that's where this comes in too, that you can think and you could be in this sort of downtrodden feeling about yourself, but you also know that there's also some hope back there. So your way you think, the analytical way that you think, else actually helps you and it hinders you at the same time. It motivates you as well. It's helped you to get to the point of success. But what you are needing to do, because your challenge, just to go back, your challenge is this: to be able to be fully you and fully present in your beautiful creative energy, okay? And to get past the wound and the self-sabotaging and the limiting beliefs, so you can see the truth of the matter, okay? So you can see the truth of the matter and be more motivated. And really what you're needing to do, right, is to get up, get the key and get inside. All right, get inside your own heart, get inside your own mind, and get out of the head a little bit. And also focus more on the amazing capabilities that you have and the potential for joy, potential for security, potential, right? You're motivated by that, but you are so in here a lot of the times that you're not really sharing. And the more you share yourself in an authentic way and stop holding on to the things that you think other people might not appreciate about you, the more likely you're going to find more peace. That's what you're really looking for. You're looking for peace, because she looks really peaceful. She's just herself. And this is what you want, right? Wishing you the best of luck, Virgo. Okay, Libra. Libra, your challenge, 2 of Wands, Libra. This is the issue, the problem, the conflict. 2 of Wands. Now, the thing about 2 of Wands is that you're not moving forward. The challenge is that you have such big dreams, such big desires, such big goals, things that you want to accomplish in this lifetime, but you're a little stuck in analysis paralysis, and also not even a lot analysis paralysis, but just self-doubt of if you can do this. And because you would prefer if you were doing this with somebody else, it feels like you can't do it alone. And so your challenge is, how do you accomplish your goals and dreams and your vision for yourself, but without needing to have someone else with you? Because the wound, 7 of Pentacles, this comes up because you realize that things take time, and maybe people weren't giving you the time to accomplish things. People were sort of making you feel like you had to hurry up. That when you move slowly, when you move methodically, when you were maybe a child or younger, as in a teenager or whatever, the fact that you take more time to sort of process things, to move forward, that it became a wound for you because people expected you to move faster. They expected you to do things quicker, and you just don't move that way. You actually need time to process. You need time to do what you feel comfortable doing, and you need to gain the momentum within yourself to keep seeing things through. And it's a wound because you just never felt like people understood your process of being, your process of doing, your process of accomplishing things, that you know that good things take time and that they can't be rushed. And you probably always felt like people were rushing you. Okay. And so sabotage, how do you self-sabotage yourself? Well, there's a lot of doubt here. There's a lot of plotting here. There's a lot of not being sure about who you can trust and who's really helping you. And there's a lot of mental gymnastics that you end up doing. And it ends up being a self-sabotaging thing because you don't feel comfortable just being yourself in a more holistic, authentic way. So you're play acting at who you are. You're not actually being, this is not even you. This is you adapting to what you think you need to do in order to survive. You're not the one in the hoodie with the knife about to start some shit. That's not you. You're a lover, not a fighter. You are not trying to do that, but you've adapted to try to fit into this thing. Like you've adapted maybe as a hustle mentality, a grinding mentality, because you need to move faster, like back to that wound. But you know that things take time, but because you've been wounded in this area, you feel like you can't. And so you get stuck. You can't move forward. The challenge is that you can't move forward because you feel like you have to be somebody who you're not. You have to approach these desires that you have in a way that doesn't feel right to you. And so your limiting beliefs comes from that you don't have anything to offer, that you yourself is not beautiful enough. You yourself is not capable enough, that you yourself isn't enough. That's a limiting belief that you have. And so you kind of hold a lot of what you have inside of you in. You aren't comfortable sharing a lot of the things that make you amazing. And you just share the parts that other people have yayed about or go about. And a lot of that is on physical material stuff. I think Libra gets a lot of that. Oh, they always look so nice. They always look so put together. You got so much more than that, but people only seem to recognize and appreciate what you have on the outside and not what you got going on inside. They never really take the time to listen to you or take the time to appreciate what you have to offer. That's a lot more deeper than that. They don't know what your dreams are. They don't know what you fantasize about. They know that you have a cute outfit on. They like your haircut. They like the way you style your home. They like how you present, but they don't know that you have so much more going on, that you really want to do something with yourself, that you really have these visions, and you're challenged by that. You got to let go of the people who don't see you, though. You got to let them go. Okay? Because they're limiting your ability to be yourself fully, wholly. That you have to be this other energy. This isn't you. This isn't you at all. The truth is who you are. Look at this. Charismatic, fun, okay, creative, passionate. That's you. That's this person, right? When she's looking out the window, this is who she sees. She sees herself living her life fully. You see yourself living your life fully. You see yourself as fully a part, beating your own drum and just sort of like expressing yourself in this full, amazing way because you're motivated by the fact that you can do. You're the magician. You have it. You have the looks and you have the brains. You have the beauty and you have the brains, Libra. You're motivated by your own ability to do things, but you're limiting yourself. You're limited by what other people are expecting of you. And so this particular reading for you is to help you to realize it's okay to go slow. It's okay to be sure. It's okay to nurture what you have inside, what you fantasize about. Okay. It's okay to nurture because this effort, this time is what you have been thinking about and that you can move forward with. All right. Because you have the tools, you have the air, the fire, the looks, the everything. You have what you need. You just want to create this beautiful magic soup, if you will. This magic making that you have within you, because it is within you. It's within you, and people like being around you, but you want them to like being around you for the right reasons, not because of what you look like and what you can do for them, but what you are all about. But you need to let that out more. You need to share more. You need to say more. You need to do more. That's true to you. That's how you got to get moving from the action. You got to move forward, okay? Fully yourself. Don't wait on anyone else to give you permission to be yourself or to tell you if what you're doing is good or not. You know it's good. You know it feels good. You know that it's true to yourself. You can still look amazing and still be smart. You can do both.